Welcome back in a new video. In this video, let's take an overview of the needs identification and requirements. Okay, so first, let's discuss about identifying business needs and objectives. So let's start with the foundation. Why do we need a contract in the first place? Before drafting or signing anything, we must understand the business need behind it. So this step ensures the contract will support the right goals. Okay. So it is essential to understand the organizational goals behind it. Our contract is not just a legal document. It is a tool that helps an organization to achieve specific business objectives. So this means you must first ask what is the organization trying to accomplish. Okay. For example, the goal might be to reduce costs through outsourcing, increase production capacity by hiring additional resources, meet regulatory requirements, or enhance customer services delivery. Okay. When you understand the broader business purpose, you can ensure the contract is aligned with the organization's strategy and delivers the intended value. Okay. So once the goals are clear, the next step is to identify the specific problems or opportunities the contract is intended to address. Contracts are usually created in response to a particular situation, such as performance gaps in existing services, the launch of new product, changes in regulations, or the discovery of a new business opportunity. For example, if an existing vendor is underperforming, the contract might be amended at finding a more reliable provider. Uh, Alternatively, if a company is expanding into a new market, so the contract might be used to establish partnerships or secure services in that region. By clearly identifying the issue or opportunity, you ensure the contract is purpose driven and focused on what really matters. Okay. So, after understanding the goals and the context, the next step is to determine the scope and constraints of the contract. So, this involves defining exactly what the contract will cover and the boundaries within which it must operate. So, important considerations include the scope of work, the budget, the schedule, and any key, you can say, uh, legal or regulatory requirements. So, you must also consider any physical, operational, or geographical limitations, such as where the services will be delivered or what resources are available. So, clearly defining these parameters helps to ensure all parties understand their roles and responsibilities and reduces the risk of conflict or misunderstanding later in the contract life cycle. Okay, so by following these three steps, like analyzing organizational goals, uh, identifying the problems or opportunities, and setting clear scope and constraints, students and professionals can approach contract management in a strategic, structured, and effective way. So, this is not only helps to create better contracts, but also ensures that the contracts contribute meaningfully to the success of the organization. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so next, let's discuss about developing clear and comprehensive requirements. Okay, So now that we understand why the contract is needed, the next step is to define what exactly we need from it. Okay. So to ensure a contract delivers value and avoids misunderstandings, it is essential to define effective requirements. Good requirements should be clear, um, and it should be, avoid terms like as soon as possible or high quality. Instead, use specific language that leaves no room for interpretation. For example, rather than saying quick delivery, specify delivery within 3 working days. Okay, so requirements should also be measurable using performance indicators or metrics to track whether expectations are being met. So this might include statements like 95% system uptime or response time under 1 hour. Okay, so another key principle is feasibility. Requirements must be realistic given the project's budget, resources, and time frame. Asking for something that cannot be delivered under existing constraints will only lead to frustration and conflict. Okay. Additionally, requirements must be complete, covering all unnecessary details, including technical, legal, functional, and operational aspects, so that nothing important is left out or misunderstood. Okay. So, requirements usually fall into common categories. Technical requirements include product specifications or adherence to engineering standards. Service level requirements outline expectations for customer support, maintenance, and response times. Performance requirements define the desired outcomes such as production speed, reliability, or quality levels. And comprehensive requirements ensure that the contract meets all legal, safety, environmental, and regulatory obligations. Okay, so all of these requirements are typically documented in a statement of requirements or a scope of work. So these documents are vital to in contract management as they form the a basis for evaluating supplier proposals, monitoring contract performance, and ensuring that both parties clearly understand their responsibilities. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so now let's discuss about stakeholder management and requirements gathering. So, one of the main reasons contracts fail is due to misalignment among stakeholders. So, this makes stakeholder management a critical step in the contract management process. To begin, it's important to identifying all relevant stakeholders, both internal and external. Yeah. Internal stakeholders might include departments such as finance, legal, procurement, IT, and end user who will be directly affected by the contract outcomes. Then external stakeholders can include vendors, services providers, consultants, and even regulatory bodies that impose compliance requirements. Okay, so once stakeholders are identified, the next step is to gather their input and requirements. There are several effective methods for doing this. Conducting interviews with the key users or managers can provide in depth insights. Organizing workshops can facilitate collaborative discussions and helps surface potential concerns. Then using surveys allow you to gather feedback from a wider groups. And then direct observations can reveal inefficiencies or unmet needs in the current processes. And reviewing existing documents such as previous contracts or performance reports can help to identify patterns and areas for improvement. Okay, so after collecting input, it's crucial to ensure alignment across all stakeholders. This involves validating the gathered requirements to make sure they are accurate and agreed upon, prioritizing uh, what's most important based on strategic goals, resolving any conflicts or differing opinions early in the process, and maintaining open communication throughout. So, keeping everyone informed helps to build trust and reduces the likelihood of disputes later on. Okay, so proper stakeholder involvement not only strengthens the contract itself but also reduce the risk such as scope creep, miscommunication, or product delays. Okay, and when stakeholders are engaged and aligned, the contracts are, you can say, more likely to be succeed and deliver the intended outcomes. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So now let's summarize. So if you skip needs identification or gather poor requirements, you may end up with a contract that looks great on paper but does not deliver value in real life. Okay, so always start with business needs, define clear requirements, and engage the right people. So I hope everything is clear now related to the needs identification and requirements in defining contracts. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.